Yeah, we are here today. We are back with our 28th episode of the Respectfully Great podcast. I hope you guys are ready today. Today is going to be one of those ones. I mean, something that we all can take and learn from, something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And we have a special guest in the building today that's going to inform us on so many things. Have you ever heard of generational wealth? We're talking about that today. Have you ever heard about insurance? We all need insurance. You got life insurance? Are you insured? So many things we need to learn about today. But ultimately, I'd be remiss if I don't come and speak, and with my regular intro, man, because I think it's important to highlight some of these things when we know who we are speaking to, because we got to have a know, like, and trust. Keep this thing off like this. Let me start off with the intro. It's only right. Today, we have a very special guest, someone that I had the privilege of working with alongside for years. Back then, he was already standing tall, not just in stature, but in discipline and professionalism. My brother always carried himself with intention, which created a long list of lives that he has changed, including mine. Without further ado, I am proud to introduce you to one of my beloveds and introduce him to the Respectfully Great family. Everybody, give a warm round of respect to Floddy Jules.
Appreciate it. Good looking, bro. That's a nice intro, man. I love that. Yeah,
Yes, family. Oh man, people don't understand. We have such a history
yes.
from the times that we have spent shared with one another. You have
Mhm.
showed up in so many ways for me that people don't even understand. You was around during pivotal times
Mhm.
where we were doing some other business ventures, and it's so ironic that we are here today along
Mhm.
our journeys, and we are in two different fields from what we initially started out as.
Yep.
So before we jump so much down the rabbit hole, how are you feeling today, my brother?
I'm feeling great, man. Can't complain at all. Another day is a blessed day. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So, I feel great, man. Health is there,
Yep.
family's good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm over here talking to you, man.
Powerful,
You know
powerful.
what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes. So tell people for the initial intro, right? Tell people
Yeah.
what you do.
So right now, I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of Connecticut, and
Powerful,
I'm newly licensed as a life insurance agent. So I just acquired my license about 2 months ago.
powerful.
Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much in a nutshell. That's the services that I provide.
That's awesome. That is
Yes, sir.
awesome. So I want people to get that gist of just who you are and what you do at the very moment. But
Hmm.
what people don't understand, that you have a history of us sharing a space to where we work together. So the area that we both had worked in was actually DoubleTree on
Yes,
Stone Street in the hotel, right? And
that's
our
where it all
experiences
started.
there that's where it all started. And
Yes, sir.
there's so many things that we have shared. There's so many memorable moments to
Hmm.
where it makes me reflect and think about just how much we have grown. And you
Hmm.
were doing some things that always was mind-boggling to me. And I didn't understand it at the time because I wasn't where I'm at now, as far as even having an insight of what's possible in the world. Right. At that point in time, I was thinking about, you know what? I was still partying, still hanging out, still doing
Hmm.
all the other things. And I'm like, man, my brother is like super disciplined. I would come in,
Hmm.
and initially you was started out as the front, you was downstairs at security,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. Yep.
And when you were security, came, I said, look at my brother right here, sharp, super intact, stay suited and
Hmm.
booted. You always just look professional. And then when
Hmm.
you carry yourself, I'm like, there's a art to leadership. And I was watching it through you. And I watched how you transition not only from security, you went from security, then you went to front desk. And then before you know it, I'm like, he said, yo, man, I'm about to get up out of here, man. I got some other things that I'm interested in. And I will see you along my journey. We keep in contact. We do what we got to do. There were some things that I've seen that you would do while we were there. When
Hmm.
I'm saying that you made these transitions, you were security, front desk, but there was other work that you were doing that
Hmm.
wasn't part of the duties of the
Hmm.
hotel. I would
Hmm.
walk in some days and you would complete your work. And then I would see you in the back working, writing down something. I'm like, what is he doing?
Mhm.
And all the time you were working on you. You were
Yeah.
working on things that you wanted to bring into fruition, things you want to bring into existence. And I'm
Mhm.
saying to myself, me at the time, I'm going to my 9 to 5. I can't wait to get out of here. I'm not
Mhm.
doing nothing more, nothing less. I was
Mhm.
actually looking for a place to hide. Keep it 1,000. Your boy
Mhm.
go do his numbers. I'm trying to get low. I'm trying to get low. But then I
Mhm.
watch my brother yourself. I'm watching you go to work, and at work you still working. And I'm like, wait, hold up. Something he knows something that I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
understand it as of yet. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't, I try to I try to wrap my head around it, and I was lost for words. What was that time like for you there when you was there doing these type of things?
So, starting out security, I'm gonna take you back before DoubleTree. So, when
Absolutely.
I first started, I started working security in a homeless shelter. Right,
Wow.
it was a family homeless shelter. That's where I started working.
Mm,
I went to college for like 2 years. I didn't finish, so I didn't get my associates. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just start working. So, got a position there, and I was always, even from a child, I was always an avid reader. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Like books fascinated me. They took me
wow.
to a place that, out of my environment. You know what I mean? Like it
Right.
just gave me perspective from individuals that were in different places, certain achievements. And from young, I used to be just astonished, just looking like, wow, like
Yeah.
some of these things that people have accomplished.
Correct.
And so I spent when I ended up being a security guard when I first started. It doesn't really entail much. You're
Yeah.
on post, you're standing there
Correct.
for the time that you're there for. So for me, I took that time when things were settled
Correct.
to read. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So I would just read books in and out. You know,
Wow.
at the time, this we're talking about early 2000s, so we didn't have iPhones or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
You know what I'm
Not at
saying?
all.
So for me, it was just like books, literally.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Just
Correct.
to get the time by while I was at work. That's what made my time
Understand.
go by,
Wow.
right? So
Correct.
fast forward to DoubleTree when we start working there.
Correct. Correct.
You know, I started reading this one particular book that opened my mind up, and I'm pretty sure I don't know if anyone here has ever read it. If you
Mm-hmm.
haven't, I definitely recommend.
Okay.
Um, Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant. That
Mm,
book right there, that was the one that opened up the doors. Um, when I was there was one particular gentleman. Now, at the time, we had we had the doorman. This is before Uber.
correct. Correct. Correct.
So this is when
Absolutely.
the doorman used to like flag down. Remember, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so there was one particular gentleman, he was doing it, and then I just
Correct.
had a conversation with me. Being at the lobby, the main
Correct.
entrance, I just have conversations with people. That's how I
True.
am. I'm a people
Yep. Yep.
person. I
Absolutely.
like to pick people's brain just to see
For
their
sure.
perspective on life. And there was
Yes.
this one particular gentleman. He was there, and he was telling me how, he started just like me. He's like, yeah, I used to do
Mm,
security. And now I own properties, I got investment properties, I do this and that. He's like, yeah, I
wow.
don't, I work when I want to. And that fascinated me. I'm like, oh, you work when you want to. So
Yeah.
I'm caught up in the 9 to 5, like, I have to be here. And
Correct.
as much as I didn't like it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then about this time I started reading, the four quadrants, Rich
Yes.
Dad, Poor Dad. And the gist of it was you had employee mindset,
Correct.
self-employed, right? And you had business, and then you had investment. And as
Mm,
I'm reading this, I'm starting to categorize, see how people are categorized in this.
correct.
And the overall concept of it was like, you could buy time
Mm,
by investing, putting your money into certain investments and make the money work for you. So that
absolutely.
concept at that time was mind blowing for me.
Correct.
So as I'm reading this, I'm the thing with me is once I find information, and as you would know,
Information junkie. It's on now.
yeah, I'm not the type to hold information. So when I
Share it.
find new information, what I'm saying, I started like letting everybody know, anyone that I work with.
Yep.
I'm like, yo, listen, there's a way out of this. Like, we don't have to be doing this 9 to 5. Like, I
True.
stumbled across this information. I don't really know much, but I'm just going off of what I'm reading. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, there has to be a way out of this. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Because at that time, my goal was to climb up the corporate ladder.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That I
Yep.
thought that was it.
That was it. Absolutely.
But there were certain things I started noticing that, I didn't really have much control of, like, I seen like the politics
Yes.
that was involved in
Yes.
the
A
corporate
lot of
world,
politics. Absolutely. Yep.
So, there was one particular situation where, I remember, like, once again,
Yeah.
so this was a situation where Uber did not exist,
Nope.
right? I think it was
Again.
just coming out,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
So I'm like, you know what? This is an opportunity. It was an idea that popped in my head because with me, I
Yeah.
always had ideas. So
Correct.
I went to, I believe it was, I forgot the position of this guy.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. Anyway,
Yeah.
I went to him and I'm like, yo, listen, I think there's a new way that we could service the guests here by utilizing this new platform, which would, definitely be beneficial to the hotel. You know what I'm saying? So this is before. So I'm already like thinking like how
Yes.
this new platform could work with the, so they took my idea and nothing ever happened. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, I'm coming up with these ideas,
Yeah.
and it's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I started getting discouraged.
Correct.
And at that time I started getting really heavy into real estate because that's where Rich Dad Poor Dad, he started going into that.
That's
and
correct.
then I started delving into real estate.
Yeah.
That's where my first interest level started peaking with real estate. And I started going into like a whole bunch of different books, just that. You know what I'm saying? And initially it was from an investing standpoint.
Okay. So you're looking at, okay, let me get into this game and I want to be an investor. More or less, I want to put my money somewhere to where I can grow because at the top of the totem pole, as we see the regular self-employed, employee, those things are cool, but the top of the echelon is the investor. I'm looking to be an investor.
Yes. So initially I wanted to start off there, so I started heavily looking into like wholesaling where it doesn't require much capital.
Correct.
I started looking at the different angles that I could, get into this thing.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? I got to a point where I was like, let me approach it from an agent standpoint and then start working from there.
Start building from there.
Right? Exactly. So I started making connections, started doing research. My wife, I gotta give credit to her because she's the one that encouraged me to get my license.
Wow, powerful. Ain't nothing like a good queen, right?
Yeah, nah, for sure. Sure. I love that woman, man. So there was times where I was discouraged, you know what I'm saying? And she pushed me. There was times where I wanted to quit, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, just keep that in mind, you know what I mean? As we go through this.
Yes.
So with her encouragement, she was like, yo, Floddy, you can do this. She's seen the passion I had for it. She's seen the level of the way I was pursuing it. And she was just like, yo, just continue going. So I ended up getting licensed. And
let me ask you, before we move forward, were you still working at the hotel this time, or you say I'm done with the hotel and
no, still working.
Got you.
So once I got licensed, so it was tough in the beginning because it was tough because at the hotel, well, we're kind of skipping steps. So so started with security and ended up moving to the front desk.
Absolutely.
So I'll share how that ended up happening. So at that time, they were considering outsourcing because I was with a security company that was contracted to the hotel.
Correct.
And they were considering outsourcing, taking out that security company and only keeping like in-house security.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, okay, so I had to like start thinking of ways of like, how could I increase my value to stay there?
Increasing value.
So, exactly. Right. So found ways to increase my value. I wasn't the supervisor at the time, but I did work just to make sure that I kept that position.
You solidified your spot. That's what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. So that ended up working, so I ended up being part of the in-house team.
Yes.
Then it came to a point where they were talking about cutting the in-house team. Once again, that corporate ladder, you start seeing things happening. So once again, my mind is going. With me maintaining my relationships, that's one of the key things. Like everywhere that I've gotten from the time that I started working to where I am now, it
Correct.
was some type of relationship that I established that took me to the next level.
Absolutely.
So you got to be careful who you talk to, how you talk to people,
Yes.
because you just never know the position that they're going to play in you growing to that next level.
Absolutely.
You know, and I always
Absolutely.
had that in mind. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? So when the time came for them to get ready to cut the in-house security, the front office manager at the time, he approached me and he was like, "Yo, Floddy, I see how you just, maneuver doing things and like you go outside of your security duties and the customer service, the way you speak to the guests and everything." So he was like, "Yeah, I think you would be good at the front desk." And mind you, at that time, security was all I knew. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Even though I was a big reader and everything, from a work perspective, security was all I knew. So, I kind of second guessed myself. I'm like, damn, front desk, that's a whole new world for me. You know
let me pause you before we get to the front desk. I want to highlight 3 things that you were mentioning that pushed you further along. We mentioning mentioning creativity, right? You said, okay, I've seen the Uber driver. How can we implement? How can we merge? How we come together as a collective to bring their business model along with ours, so we can cohesively make business together? So you had the idea of building relationships, being creative with that aspect. You also prioritize with talking to other people, and you started to notice that when I have these relationships with other people, certain doors started to open up for me. Always. So now you prioritize them with relationships along with the support of a support cast, wife, etc. People around you to say, you know what? Hey, although things are getting tough, a community start pushing you along. Say, you know what? You can. So it made me think about all of these steps that you're taking from one position, transitioning to another. You had some of these key components that were prevalent. And I want to highlight these things because a lot of times along our journey, people get discouraged. So when you know that you're on a different path, if you stay creative, if you build solid relationships and you get inside of a tribe, a community, or support cast, people around you that support the vision, very, very important, even during the early stages, because had you not had some of these things, you say, you know what, my creativity isn't going anywhere. If I didn't have the support, this ain't going anywhere. Maybe I just stay stagnant in this one position and I don't see growth. Maybe it's not even worth it because I don't know nothing about these things. I know security. I'm going to continue to do this. And had you just stayed there, you wouldn't be here today. So I want to highlight that, to let people know that you were transitioning and you were doing things. You wasn't doing anything. You were doing things even when you were stagnant, even when you was at a standstill. You were still working and still being creative. Hey, what if I prioritize with this relationship? Hey, like the other gentleman said, you were going above and beyond your duties to say, you know what, I'm going out my way to see things that were problematic that I can potentially fix. And you being a problem solver. So that was very, very key. I just wanted to highlight that. Now we have the front desk.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So now we're at the front desk. So I'm, completely different. I'm front and center, dealing with guests directly. So now it's a whole different environment that I had to adapt to. So I was always the type of individual that you put me in an environment, I'm gonna adapt somehow, somewhere. I'm gonna pick up. You have to. It's like a sink or swim situation.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sinking.
Nah, not at all. We're not doing that.
So so whether you know what I mean. And once again, it comes back to relationships because and I come humbly. I'm not So when I started, individuals that are already there, I let them know, hey, listen, I don't know this. You know what I'm saying? So I would always reach out to them for help until I got it to the point where I understood it and I was able to do things for myself.
Yes.
Right. So even at the front desk, anytime I had my quiet time, I would still be reading. You know what I'm saying? Like that, that never stopped. That never stopped. So an opportunity came where the same gentleman, he ended up leaving, going to another hotel. And at that other hotel, they were paying more, and it was a management position. You know what I'm saying? So at Doubletree, I was just a regular front desk agent, and then he presented the opportunity. He was like, "Hey, Floddy, I'm leaving. They have an overnight." No, he had already left. Got settled in, and he reached back out to me. He was like, "Floddy, I got a position here at this hotel, and they're paying X amount, much more
money on."
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm like, damn, I'm like, I never did management before. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to start managing people, and So I'm just once again, that initial, second guessing myself. Like, damn, I don't know if I could do this. But at the end, I'm thinking for my family, thinking of providing. I'm like, okay, I'm moving up. You know what I'm saying? So I take it, go. I kill the interview, get the position. You know what I'm saying? So I start working there, and once again, same thing, because all of these positions, outside of the fact of security, I believe all of them were overnight positions.
Yes.
So I had that opportunity to, do what I wanted to do while still getting the job done, mind you. So it's not like I'm not.
No, you're doing your duties. You're doing some more on top.
Yes,
absolutely.
So once everything is done, because once you get the gist of everything, you kind of get into a routine where you kind of know, what to do. You know what I'm saying? So once I had everything down pat with work, I'm like, okay, so this is the time where I have for myself, and I always use that time productively.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So once again, continue reading, doing my research. At that point, that's where I really started pursuing the real estate license.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? And then once I got licensed, I was there working as an overnight manager, and then doing real estate during the day. So that's where I first started, and it was tough. It was tough because with real estate, I went all in. And there was times where it was dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I say dangerous, meaning like I used to get home from work from the overnight shift, sleep for about like 3 hours. Mind you, I started once I started getting into real estate, I started using that time to start coordinating my schedule. So when I started getting clients, when I was finished with work on the overnight shift, I would, schedule my appointments on the overnight shift for the following day. So once I get off, I already knew okay, for this particular client, these are the properties they want to see. So I schedule it on the overnight shift for the following day. And then once I got off, I would sleep for a little bit and then go to those appointments. And I used to try to cap it off about 6, 7, because I had to go back into work for the overnight shift for the 11 o'clock, So
grinding.
So it was tough. So it got to a point where I started getting good.
What do you mean? Explain that. When you say getting good, let people know what that looks like. What does good look like?
So like anything in life, once you put your mind to it, and you stay consistent, you're eventually going to grow.
Okay.
You just have to stay the task, stay the course, and put your all into it. You know what I'm saying?
Consistency was the key, huh?
That was a key. That was a key. You know what I'm saying? Because I was it was a desire. You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing. If you don't have that desire, what's the point? Because I really wanted this. I really wanted it. You know what I mean? So
let me ask you a question. I'm gonna cut your wisdom. Did you have a why attached to it? I hear people all the time say, hey, when we're going out and we're doing these things and we're designing our purpose and we're going out in this world and we're trying to fulfill that emptiness or that void, we want something so bad. Did you have a why attached to it? Okay, you're a family man, you have children, you have a wife. Did you say, you know what, I'm going out this, I have a desire for this, but there's something bigger too?
Yeah. I had a couple of whys. Of course, the family. I want to make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the other whys was the control of my time. Because I really didn't like the fact, to each their own. For me, to the fact that I had to ask for vacation time. You know what I'm saying? During certain time of the year, weather's nice. I really don't feel like coming in. I want to spend it with, what I'm saying?
Yeah, want to chill out a little bit, hang out.
Yeah,
do me.
Me personally, man, it didn't sit well with me, man. After a while, it really started weighing on me. And I'm like, after especially reading those kind of books, I'm like, there has to be a way for me to get out of this, and I didn't want that. You know what I'm saying? That was a strong why for me right there. Being control of my time.
Controlling your time.
Yeah.
Powerful.
So that that and family, of course.
Absolutely.
Know what I'm saying? Provided for them. So that's what I would say as far as that.
Man, if everybody out there that's in real time, give the thumbs up Send them fire emojis. Let us know that you are here with us and you hearing these gems getting dropped. More or less, it's more about giving ourselves some sense of direction and letting us know that these are some of the emotional things that we attach to the things that we do. Sometimes we do things and we don't have a purpose on why we do them. And I was asking them this question very, very keenly because I know that there's things in my life to where I do things and there's a very, very big why attached to them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is even doing what we're doing now because I feel like it's a big why. Because I want to let people know that in our communities, people that look just like me and you, there are other ways to get money, to feed your family, to go out
Yes.
there and chase your dreams. And I
Yeah.
love to highlight the journey itself. I want to let people know your character. I want to let people know who you are and what you had to stand tall against in order to get over some of these things. And sometimes you had to find a way to go over. Sometimes you had to find a way to go through. Sometimes you had to work out the timing because one of the things that you highlight is that this timing thing, something
Yeah.
about time is what's consuming me just being free of being able to express my creativity and being able to feed my family in a creative
Mhm.
way to where I'm fulfilled. And I think that's something that's very, very important because you can go out there and be a dog walker. And if that's your passion, if that's what you want to do, you can fulfill that. You say, you know what, I get my time back. I go out there, walk the dogs when I choose to. I don't have to go answer to nobody. No pun intended. Whoever has a job, disclaimer. It's
Yeah.
if you love working,
That's
beautiful
good.
thing. But
Yeah.
if that's not fulfilling you, and you know
Yeah.
that hey, you want to go out there and gaze at the stars and be something dealing with something astrology, I think it's important to go out there and find that why, attach yourself to it, and work diligently in that lane until something comes to fruition, even just your happiness and your time.
Yeah. Now, just to add on to that, man,
Yes.
that's spot on. There's times where I'm driving drive through. You know what I'm saying? And like just seeing the customer service, it's like I could tell this person doesn't want to be
You don't
here.
want to be there.
You know what
Absolutely.
I'm
Yep.
saying?
You can
And it
tell the
shows.
energy. It
And
shows.
yeah, the energy is a very important thing that I go off of. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So it's
yes.
like, you know, you gotta pursue that passion. Yeah, you gotta make it work for the
Correct.
time being, but find that passion of yours. What is it that you truly feel like this is your purpose? You
True
know what I'm
indeed.
saying? And for me, real estate did that. And not thinking about it, it was always there. And when I say
Mm.
that, because when I was younger, much younger, I had an uncle of mine that we used to go to where was it? Like toward, was it Coney Island? No, like South Shore. Was it certain areas,
Certain
neighborhoods
areas. Correct.
where I
Absolutely.
would see properties. I'm like, damn, I wonder what it's like to be in there. You know what I'm saying? Like see certain houses.
Wow.
And I was always,
Intrigued by that.
like, yeah, like for me, it
Yep.
was just like, wow, like I wonder
Yep.
what it's like to see what it looks like inside of this house. So that was always an infatuation for me. And sometimes for some people, you could see people's passions.
Correct.
I had a friend of mine, and it's crazy. So when we were younger, he used to always, like, every time a fire truck came out, like
Yeah.
came down the street, he said, always run outside the house and just look. You know what I'm saying?
Fire
Today
truck.
he is a firefighter. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
We used to always like wonder, like, what's wrong with this dude? And like, every time a firefighter, a fire truck come down the street, he used to always just come out the house and just like gaze and just look. Like, what's wrong with this dude? Really?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But it ended up being something that he was very interested in.
It's
You know what I'm saying?
powerful.
And then, like, for him, he took steps, you know what I'm saying, went to EMT, and then eventually ended up being a firefighter. But
That's
you
amazing.
see, like, from young, you just seen, like, okay, this guy's really into fire trucks and firefighting.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
That is
saying?
powerful.
So you're able to sometimes see things in people that people don't see in themselves. And this is
True.
where, having relationship and having communications with individuals that keep it real, like having that circle
For sure.
of individuals around you so they can see things that you don't see. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
I agree.
So, yeah,
110%.
that's
That is
right.
powerful. Man, you
Yeah.
said something very, 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 very important too. You said when he was a child, and it was which is ill. I watch a lot of children, nieces, nephew. I don't have any children of my own, but I have a stepson. And I watch children of what they into very like now. So I study them. They may not be paying me no attention, but I'm really, really watching them. And as I watch them, I look at them and I find things that they find enjoyment in, right? At early ages. And I'm watching like my niece. She does everything, right? So she's just at the age where she just pick up everything. But
Mhm.
She's picking up every dumbbell in the house. My nephew got dumbbells in the house. She's trying to struggle pick up the dumbbell. She's throwing a baseball, and she's just so active. And I'm like, this girl just got an inclination in things of like being somebody that's just hands on. She's not a real prissy little girl in the sense of you got all different variations of children, but she's one child that's really, really like open to different ideas and trying to show people. My brother has these perfect push-ups, so he does push-ups, and then she go over there and she pop a little butt in the air trying to do push-ups, and I'm like, it is crazy. Like anything, the confidence is there. So you know, one thing it stands out to me is that as we get older, we get consumed of hearing people saying that you're not good enough. This little girl at 3 years old don't know what is good, what is bad. Is she doing well? Is she not doing well? Only thing she's concerned about is just doing. And I think about us as adults when we get older, some of these passions that we have, like, you know what, maybe I'm a real good drawer. And then along the journey, you have some people in the classroom or a different setting, family members, whoever say you're not that good. And then the confidence starts to shrink. It drops. And then it makes me think about how many people out there in our lives had diminished their own value, thought to themselves that I'm not good enough because somebody else said that or put that label on them. And it makes me want to break down those walls all the time because I see so much potential, same way that you do with other individuals. And you're like, you know what? This person is really, really great at this. And they don't know it. You telling them, hey, this person right here could cook their butt off. You just need to go there and cook. And people don't understand. Don't forget it. Nobody gonna buy. Nobody gonna do it. Don't worry about that. That's gonna play itself out. But we see people cut themselves off, and I see the variations between children and adults. Children, they got there's nothing that they can't do, and then you got the adults. There's okay, I really can't do anything. I don't. But you understand what I'm saying? And it's just one of those variations. It's just one of those things where it sticks out like a sore thumb, and it makes me think about how your friend will run out the house and see the fire truck. And today, nobody took that passion away from him. Whether he was in the circles and environments where people embrace that and let him be and grow into that person to now he's a firefighter out there saving lives and passionate about what he does.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
Powerful.
Man. Yes, now, definitely.
Getting back to when you saying that, well, you know what? Before we jump there, how were you when you were a child? Because you're a big guy, right? So people don't know you. You're a big guy. So I know ideally when they look at you, and the first thing people probably say is, do you play football or basketball? How many times you got that?
That is a pet peeve of mine that drives me crazy, bro.
I can imagine.
You know what it is? Because, you know, just for the people that's out there, I'm 6'4", currently at like 275. So like you said, I am a big dude. It's not like, you know, I work out regularly. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so when people see me, like even till like literally like about last week, going to the supermarket, some guy, he's walking with his wife or mother. And he was like, yo, you know, you ever thought about playing football? Man, you look like a football player, man. You know what I'm saying? But I get it all the time. I mean, when I was slimmer, it was basketball. Then as I put on the weight, the muscle, it's oh, man, you look like a good football player, man. You need to play for the Jets, man. Like, you need some help. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it was like, and I tell my wife this, man, like, you know, security. Like when people see me, it's like it was two things. It was security and some type of sports. It's like I can't be anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and that used to really bother me. Like, why can't I be something else, something more? And like, why do you, when you see me, it's automatically you just see, you know, from the physical specimen that I am, as opposed to my mental. You know what I'm saying? So that used to, you know, I mean, it don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Not
absolutely.
But back then, man, that used to be a pet peeve of mine, brother.
How were family members? How did people around you want you to be involved in some of those things as well? Or like
no. See, that's the thing. Like so growing up, I was one of those children that was on lockdown, man. Like my parents didn't let me do anything, man. Like I couldn't even cross the street till I was about like 13, 14.
Straight up. Your parents say, listen, like, you going out there fooling around with big boys. You know you're doing that.
Yeah. So they wasn't really letting me out. Like, and you know, it's crazy because now that I am a parent, I understand it better. You know what I'm saying? Because before, you know, as a child, you know, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm a child. When I started approaching the teenage years, I just didn't understand it. It makes sense to me. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with you? I'm just going across the street. I'm just going down. Correct. You know what I'm saying? But they knew what the world was like at that time. You know what I'm saying? The neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So certain things that they saw that I didn't. You know what I
Correct.
mean? So they used to just like protect me. So, as far as like the sports, they didn't really let me go out to do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't until I want to say like in junior high, my coach actually approached my mom. And mind you, I used to play ball like in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But like
correct.
as far as like being involved with like actual like formal team,
Yeah.
the junior high coach approached my mom, and I told him, I'm like, yo, listen, man, she ain't gonna let me play, man. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not.
it ain't gonna happen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my mom's. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, ain't gonna happen.
So, so he ended up having a convo with her
Yep.
and actually talked her into it. So that was my
Wow.
first experience with like joining a formal team and
Yeah.
going out there. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So, I mean, my childhood was good. I mean, we at that time, it was humble beginnings, man.
Yeah.
And when I say that is because me, I'm transparent. So like with me,
Absolutely.
when we were younger, when I was younger, we started off living in the basement. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Right.
It was my mother, father, me, and my sister, and it was like he was living under my uncle's
Okay.
house in the basement. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And it was literally just a kitchen, a bathroom, and a bedroom. Four of
Yep.
us. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that was my start. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But even though that was the situation, like my parents always made it like a homely feeling. Like even though we live in the basement, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
so I didn't think of it because me being a kid, I'm
No,
like, okay, I'm
it's
taking care of
normal.
that.
It's
I'm eating every
absolutely.
day. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I'm going to school, well dressed. Mom's taking care of me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I didn't think of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like even like my friends from the neighborhood, like everyone had their situation, living in
Correct. Correct.
apartments, parents that own homes. So I never looked at myself as less than at that time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely
So,
not.
but reflecting back, looking at it like, damn, this is where we started from. We was there for a while.
Yeah.
But I was never deprived at that time.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So my parents always made sure that, I went without, you know what I'm saying? Like everything was taken care of.
Yep.
Like I said, they're overprotective, but in a good way, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So but yeah, that, in a nutshell, that was the childhood,
Yeah. Well, we want to give your parents nothing but big round of love and respect, because what people don't understand is people think that just because the environment, right, that we are in,
Mm-hmm.
the environment is one thing, but it's
Mm-hmm.
the morals and the beliefs that are
Yep.
taught inside the home.
Yes, sir.
And those are the things that a lot of people from our communities in the urban areas and things like that we miss
Mm-hmm.
out on, because we think that, hey, the neighbor got more of this, they
Mm-hmm.
got this, they got that, and we start comparing ourselves to
Mm-hmm.
materialistic things and not
Mm-hmm.
understanding that the mindset, the mentality, the morale, the belief
Mm-hmm.
system,
Yeah.
the code of conduct, the love, all of
Mm-hmm.
these things
Yeah.
shape and mold the person. And when I asked you about just the childhood aspect, I know the same thing happened with me. No matter what the conditions were,
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that we was always provided for, because inside the house home, it was a belief system to say that, you know what, I'm going to love my children with or
Yeah.
without, no matter who. And
Yes.
I'm gonna still instill in them some morals and some beliefs that be able to carry them out. I'm gonna teach them respect. I watch now, even as an adult, and I'm not looking for no pat on the back. I'm not looking for somebody to match me in that same area. But it'd be something simple as walking down and you going into a store, you hold the door, and the person will walk right in and want to almost say
Simple as
thank you.
that.
And it's
Yeah.
like, this is what I was taught naturally. But then
Yeah.
there's some people that don't recognize it, and then it made me think about some other forms of um education that I got from other people, and something that stood out, because I used to struggle with this. I used to be more or less on the lines of a people pleaser, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand, like I used to think that it was just strictly damaging until I
Mm-hmm.
learned how to balance that. And as I became more mature as an adult, I
Mm-hmm.
started to realize that no, that is your gift. People, if you share it with the wrong people, people take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that when you got to understand that when you say about good and bad, that only applies to the same people that had the same belief system that you carry. Because
Mm-hmm.
one good could be a bad in somebody else's culture, somebody
Yeah.
else's religion,
That's
somebody
true.
else's environment. It may
Mm-hmm.
be taboo to go on the elevator on the 13th floor in some places. Some hotels don't even have a 13th floor, but
Mm-hmm.
in some other places they do. So this is that, okay, in this area, people like us do things like this. That means that where we are in our lives, those same belief systems, them same morale, the same code of conduct only is established between the people that understand that. And that's part of you, part of your tribe, part of your family. So when your mother and your parents were saying, hey, regardless of what the other people out there doing, in this household, we follow
Yep.
rules at 13
Yep.
years old. When you get mature, when we feel like you're ready, then you'll
Mhm.
be able to go out there and experience life in that way. And I think that's so important about raising ourselves, raising our children, making sure that we got the environments where we protect it. Because if I done something wrong, my aunts, uncles, they all had permission to go there and spank my behind
Oh
if I
yeah.
done
Oh
something
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yep.
nowadays we see where you can't even yell at a child.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on who you are, disclaimer, everybody's not the same way. I'm just saying that there are things that I've seen from how I grew up to even at that time and now where I say, I get it. In our household, this is just what we do. And over there, regardless of what the neighbor does, regardless of what's happening in school, they got different rules and structure that they got to follow or not follow. But over here, this is what we doing. And I seen how it shaped and molded me to the person I am today. Even when
Yeah.
you're talking about building relationships and having that same type of courtesy for other people. Some people don't have that. And we
Yeah.
can't diminish our value and say, you know what, from now on, I'm never holding the door for nobody.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
I had to find that balance,
Yeah.
because that one point in time, I said, I'm never doing this for nobody. And I say, hold on, I'm losing myself. I don't feel
Yeah.
like who I
Gotcha.
supposed to be. And I started to cut off, some of the gifts and the leverages that I had in my life for being who I am because I wanted to play a game of somebody else's, not the belief system that we carried out in our trusted environment. Because only thing your parents were doing was loving you and letting
Yeah.
you build up that
Yeah.
that person that you are today, even though you are who you are, but that helps shape and mold you.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. And like I said, I didn't realize it until I became a parent to understand it. Like, with my daughter, my oldest daughter, like I'm just as overprotective
I
over
can
her than
imagine.
like how my parents were with me. You know what
I
I'm
can
saying? And
imagine.
like I
Yep.
said, it's not until you are a parent you get that feeling. You start
Absolutely.
seeing why
Yep.
they are. You know what I'm saying? Because God forbid something happens, your world ends. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I remember I was sitting down with my daughter um, a while back. We was watching some Netflix show with it was a young lady. She said they went on a cruise. I forgot the name of it. Went on the cruise.
Correct.
She was a young adult, and she ended up. I don't know. She just ended up she disappeared. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Literally on the cruise, with her
Ooh,
parents and brother,
that's scary.
and just disappeared. And this situation didn't happen to me, but as a parent,
Whew.
that feeling
Oh
of
man.
knowing something like that happening, oh
I
man,
know it
like
crushed you. I know it crushed
bro,
you.
I would lose it. I would
Yep. You
lose it.
lose it.
That
Absolutely.
right there, like not knowing what happened, like you just completely vanished. No one knows what happened to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I could definitely understand why my parents were like that. You know what I'm
Absolutely. I
saying?
get it.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
That's powerful. We're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick commercial break and then we'll be right back. Peace, beloveds. Thank you for tuning in to the Respectfully Great podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reed, and I appreciate your continuous support. Do you know that over 80% of the people that watch our channel aren't subscribed? By subscribing to our channel, you give us the opportunity to bring on more guests to add more value to our channel. To join our growing community, head over to respectfullygreat.com, sign up for our email list to get exclusive updates on empowering blogs, as well as the latest and greatest in Respectfully Great fashion. Once again, it's nothing but big love, and we value your commitment. Powerful. We are back. We are back from our commercial break. Before we jump right into anything, I want to give some of the comments out that people are tapping in. The Jules family, big love, big heart. Elizabeth, she says, you get up to the point that you want your own freedom. That is powerful.
Yeah.
The Jules family smiles and laughs. It's so powerful to have our loved ones and our family members are tapped in. So if everybody that's out there, like, thumb up the video, share, tell somebody to tell somebody, because this information is important. It's not just about career building. It's about personality building, people building, loving yourself, growing your mindset. So primarily, this is why we're here today conversing, because we're getting to know one another more in depth about our stories, because I know that our stories can really be our testimony to greater things. And I want people to understand that don't be ashamed of who you are. Actually embrace who you are. The thing is that I learned something the other day from Dr. Ali Muhammad, and he's part of he was part of the conscious community. But I want to get to something about the conscious community because you had introduced me to health and wellness a long time ago. And
Yes,
this is how I'm
sir.
so engulfed
Yes,
in
sir.
this space right now about health and wellness. I didn't take health that serious at a point in time, point in time in my life. And you actually had introduced me to a personnel that helped change how I thought about health. Do you remember that time?
Yeah, of course, of course. That was about the time I was reading Dr. Layla Africa.
Facts.
Yeah. That's a big reader, man. Like that's
Yo,
in the books,
absolutely.
everything that you want to know, you know. So I definitely remember that time, man. I didn't know that, see, that's the thing, because once again, you just never know the influence that you have,
Yep.
how it affects other individuals. I
So
didn't
true.
know, like, you took it and just like, because some people you share information with,
One
and
out the other.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So for you to actually take that, do your own research, and like dive deep, and then take it on your own, beautiful.
So powerful.
I love it. I love it,
Yep.
man. And that's why I like, go ahead.
No, finish your wisdom.
No, I was gonna say, so this is why when I said earlier that like when I find information, I love sharing it
Yep.
because I leave it up to that individual to make the decision what you want to
True.
do with that information. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
So
So
true.
you can't say that you didn't know,
Nope.
because someone told you. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Now it's
Absolutely.
up to you to do the work yourself.
Up to
You know what I'm
you.
saying? I
So
can't,
true.
I can't hold your hand through the whole
Nah.
process.
You brought me to the water. You brought me to
Yeah,
the water.
exactly. And
Yep.
so everything is on you at that point.
It's so crazy, right? From how like those building blocks initially started there for me and being more, driven by wanting to know more about the body and studying, etc. And then led me to a brother named Dr. Ali Muhammad. And around when Polite and them, they used to go
Yeah,
back and forth and
yeah,
spar,
yeah, yeah,
etc. But what I learned, because I still watch Dr. Ali today, and I'm so engulfed into his teachings, and he has said something the other day about time, right? A lot of times we think of time as a linear thing, something that just goes straight, it doesn't curve, doesn't bend, everything just keep on the straight and narrow. And then he taught a concept behind how we got time kind of misconstrued, and time is really like spherical, like it goes in the spear. And not only that, time you can interchangeably change time of events. You can make the past the present, the future, the past. And I'm like, okay, explain this. So he gave the analogy along the lines of some people in their lives are still stuck in the past because when we converse with them about right now in real time, they still talking about the things that transpired back then, and
Powerful.
they staying in that same space.
Yeah.
Then he was saying that the present, what we doing right now, is going to affect the future. So the things that we doing right now is actually shaping and molding what's going on in the future. He said not only that, we still have the power to change what happened in the past, depending on how we associate these things. And it made me think about that thing right there when you're talking about the household. And although our conditions were this, right? Some people would take these situations that happen in their lives, right?
Yeah.
And they would associate it as being a misfortune. Not knowing that we can erase that memory, we could turn that memory into a victorious one. It could be the actual building blocks that allow us to be where we are today. So when we talk about stories and people saying, "Hey, there's nothing to my story," or "I haven't experienced X, Y, and Z," or "My experiences were the worst of the worst," you don't understand that worst situation or condition, that bad happened, whatever you associate as being bad. Don't you know if you are living today, that was really your strength? How about you say, yo, I made it through that and I'm able to talk about that and I'm still here today. You're living proof, you're living testimony. So we started talking about those times on how we can just change time and just, interchangeably make the past the present the future, and vice versa. I'm like, man, this started from that seed that you planted with Layla. It got me here. I wouldn't have been no way here had not that seed been planted from you 18 years ago. Crazy, bro.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Powerful.
I had a near death experience. Well, two actually.
Wow.
One in particular, I was 16. I was a victim of a gunshot wound, and just to know that my life could have stopped right there, like everything.
Absolutely.
So it's like when you get when they say like, your life is, you could look at life in retrospect, it's clear 2020 in
Correct.
retrospect. You know what I'm saying? So you start piecing things together, certain circumstances that happen in your life. You start seeing why certain things happen the way they did.
Correct.
You know, like you said, like it's character building. It's like, wow, if I didn't make that decision, you know, it's a learning situation with every experience that you go through in life.
So
You know what I'm saying?
true.
Whether good or bad.
So
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
But you have the power to make that decision to decide what that future is going to look like for you.
Yeah.
Based on the decision that you make.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely, it's definitely a powerful thing when you know, you make the decision at that present moment which direction your life is gonna go.
So true, man. That's powerful,
You
family.
know,
Oh man, that's powerful. You shared some
yeah.
gems on us. I want to get into about the real estate. There's so many questions I have to ask, and I know that in our chats, you can put it up in the chats. Let us know some of the questions that you may have asked. But for me, right, just being selfish. Hey, I'm selfish, guys. I'm gonna make this about me. Yeah, come on, man. Let's go, man. I'm transparent. At least I'm transparent, right? For a person like me, right?
Yeah.
We deal with I want to be a homeowner.
Yeah.
I have yet to be a homeowner.
Mhm.
There are things that have blemishes on my credit report.
Yeah.
Is there a way possible for me to step into the space of generational wealth of acquiring a home? What would the steps look like for me initially? If you have someone like me in general, I know that you have past clients that came and they have variations of a bunch of intangibles that's going on, but
Mhm.
you figured out a way to get these things working. Right now, I got some blemishes on my credit report, my
Yeah.
finances up and down. I still got some things that I love to indulge in. I got some vices. What
Mhm.
would be your advice to me to say, hey, if you're serious about wanting to be a homeowner, what steps you think for personnel like me or for people out there, even if they don't have the situation that I have and they just want to be a homeowner, can you walk us through that process and what that may look like?
Yeah, sure. So all right. So starting out, the first thing that you want to do is have a conversation with a lender.
Mm.
Now, a lot of times people they get into. I noticed once I mentioned like, hey, you just got to sit down and speak to a lender. They automatically think that they're going to pressure them to buy a house at that very moment. That's not what it is. So by you sitting down speaking with a lender, they look at your situation in a nutshell. They look at the overall picture to see where you are, how realistic is your situation in terms of your readiness to purchase a home, right? So by sitting down, they'll look at your credit score. If that needs to be worked on, then you'll connect. They'll probably connect you, or the agent, myself, will connect you with someone that does that. To fix up your credit score. If it's something where you're looking to save a certain amount for the down payment and closing costs, they'll give you a goal to work towards. So they'll ask you these questions: what's your credit score? What's your income looking like? Right? Are you going to be? Is it just you that's going to be going on this mortgage? Do you have a partner? So they start looking at if it is a partner that you're with, or you have someone else, they're going to look at the overall income, right, of what you bring in. Right? They're going to look at your debt to see how much debt that you have, how much money you have saved. So they look at the overall picture and are able to determine at that point your readiness. So another thing is where you want to purchase. That plays a part because the market in New York is much higher than the market in Connecticut. So based on your income, you might not, based on how much you bring in, your debt, you may not be qualified to purchase a home in New York based on that. You might have to go elsewhere. So a lot of times when I sit down with clients, I tell them like, honestly, your pre-approval dictates where you're going to purchase. So but that's the initial start. You would have to sit down and speak with a lender so they could take a look at your overall picture and then help you to see what it is where you are in the process.
Okay, got it. So when we say lender, right, just for the individuals like myself don't know nothing. A lender will be somebody like maybe going to a bank or something, correct?
Yeah, mortgage loan officer. So you go to the bank.
Okay.
You have credit unions. That also help you. You have mortgage brokers also that you could go to. So there's different in every. So a credit, if you're part of a credit union, they have like better like interest rates.
Got it.
For the most part. Mortgage brokers, they'll help you. They'll shop, like they have like partner lenders that they work with. So based on your situation, they'll partner you with the better lender that would fit your situation. So if you have like a credit score that's like at 580, 580 is like the minimum that they would want to work with someone to help you to get pre-approved. So if your credit score is there and you're not looking like you have money saved and the income is good, so it's only credit that's holding, then you might be better fitting with a particular lender that does that. So it all depends. It all depends.
So everybody's pretty much on an individual basis, depending on how their money is, credit, etc. What I wanted to know is when you said something about getting together with somebody else, right? If I come with a partner, would they consider that one or two people? Would they consider that as crowdfunding? Like, would they consider that? So if I go for a mortgage, and initially I try to go for a mortgage myself, I go sit down with a bank, and they say, "Hey, you're approved for $100,000, right?" But I want to bring on my partner. I got my spouse with me, and she said, "You know, let's go do this together." That's two personnel. Will they add? They would look at both of our situation, and they would do the same evaluating process.
Yes, and that increases. So with you doing it alone, you're pre-approved for $100,000. By you bringing in a co-borrower, that's what their title, they would increase that based on their income, their debt. So same process, and combined, you may now be able to get something that's $250,000.
Got it.
So there are situations where, I have individuals that are looking to purchase in a certain area, and based on their income and everything, they're not pre-approved. So I would ask them like, "Hey, would you happen to have a family member, a partner, someone that could jump on as a co-borrower to, help you to purchase the property?" So, that's where you could, that's where it benefits individuals that are looking to get something higher than what they would qualify for.
Got it. They also have different types of loans, right? FHA. What is an FHA?
So FHA, it's so the acronym. I'll be honest with you, I forgot what it stands for, but I know what FHA is. Say it again.
First Homeowners Association.
No. I learned this when I was getting the license, but I should know this on the top of my head. What I do know is it requires you to have 3.5% down. So
that's very minimal, right? 3.5
exactly. So 3.5% for the down payment. A lot of first-time home buyers, they usually qualify for that. You don't necessarily have to have a high credit score with an FHA loan.
Okay.
Like I said, the minimum they're willing to work with you is 580. They prefer the credit score to be at least 620, most lenders.
Right.
But that's all it would really take, like a credit score of like 620 and higher, and a minimum of 3.5% down of the purchase price of what the home is going for is what you will be paying for the down payment.
Got it.
Also,
okay.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So per se, if it's $100,000, right, for the home, 3.5% would be $3,500.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's the down payment.
That's the down payment.
Correct. So where people misunderstand is they believe that that's all they have to come up with. So there are other fees associated. It's closing costs as well. And typically, so once again, like once we're having the initial consultation call, the lender goes over it with them as well. It's a good, I would say like 5%. You want to factor in 5%. Some areas, depending on where you are, like 4%, 4 to 5%.
Yeah.
For closing costs and other fees.
Got it.
So the total amount times 3.5 plus the 4 to 5%, which should give you the total amount of money that you should have to purchase a home. But there's ways around that as well. We could discuss
absolutely
that. Yeah,
for sure. You do multi-family as well, right?
Correct.
Can you tell me? Can you share some pros and cons to maybe having a single, maybe a single family versus a multi? What are some pros and cons you would see or
So
say?
with multifamily, it all depends. I mean, I usually try to um, suggest starting off if it's your first property, start off with a multifamily.
Why is that?
The pros with that is that you could be in a position where the multifamily home is paying you, depending on how much it is. See,
Explain
so
that.
let's say you get a four family,
Correct.
right? And your mortgage is about 3,000, right, a month, right?
Yeah.
That's the mortgage.
Yeah.
Now you're living in one unit, and the other three you're renting out
Correct.
for, say, in Connecticut over here. Now we're not going to use New York numbers.
Yeah. 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 For
So up
sure.
here, let's say like 1,500,
Correct.
right? So that's 4,500 that you're collecting from the tenants. Your mortgage is 3,000, right? So that's $1,500 extra that you're pocketing from collecting the rent. So you're actually being paid to live in the property that you purchased. So that's the pro to that.
Got it.
The con is now you're a landlord.
Yeah.
So, which can be challenging
Yeah.
the first time around because you're
Correct.
dealing with, individuals, you're dealing with a property that, things happen,
Yeah.
so it's a learning curve.
Correct.
But if you're willing to deal with that, cool. What I would say, a four may be too much, or what you could do is you could do a two family
Correct.
where you live in one and you rent out the other one. Now you're not getting paid, but that the income that you're getting from the side that's rented is contributing towards your mortgage. So your mortgage is not going to be as much. So using the same example, your mortgage is 3,000 and you have a tenant, next to you, above you, that's paying 1,500. Now your mortgage is actually like 1,500 as opposed to 3,000 because you have that income coming in from the tenant. So, and it's less tenants that you're dealing with. So it all depends on what it is that you're looking for as the buyer from that regard in terms of like multifamily.
Got it. I'll ask you one more question, just piggybacking off of that. So just say in general, when we talked about earlier buying a single family home, I have 100 grand to put down towards this house. Now I see a two family, and a two family is say 300,000. Would the lender consider me still be an applicant for the two family if my approval was only for 100 grand? Would they still try to boost it up? Would that? How would that work?
All right, so that's another approach. So let's say instead of like, let's say, I'm like, hey, do you have a co-borrower? No, I don't have anyone that could co-borrow. So the next thing that I would usually suggest is like, okay, have you considered like looking into like a multifamily? Because with lenders, they, I'm not licensed as a mortgage lender, but what you can do is what they do is they use the income from that rental property. So they'll find out like how much it's going for, and then they'll consider that as income and go towards your pre-approval. So that 100,000 could possibly be 175 or 200 that they'll consider, being that there's income coming in. So they factor that income coming in from that.
That's powerful.
Yes,
see, because I was initially thinking like, okay, well, if they only approve me for 100 grand and I want to go single family, there's no way I could think about a multi. But now you're saying this opened up the door for endless amount of possibilities. So people saying that, hey, I have approval odds for a residential one family, but now if you're going this for an investment property where they can help pay off that mortgage with you, you can have some income coming in from another property.
So let me cut you off there. So it's not an investment property. So it's considered an owner-occupant property because you're living there.
Got it.
You put 3.5% down.
Okay, so you still have to stay in the property.
That changes the whole dynamic.
Once you label it as such, it changes it.
Correct. Yeah. So if you go to Atlanta, I'm looking for an investment property. Now they're not thinking 3.5. They're like, oh, okay, this person. So now you went from 3.5% down to like 20, 15, 20, 25% down because the word investment. So the way they thinking, you're not going to be living there.
So you don't really want to go into it saying that.
No, you want to say it, you're going to be an owner occupant, which you should be.
Should be. Okay.
Should be an owner occupant.
For sure.
And living in one of the units.
Got it.
Does it happen all the time? No, but legally, that's the way it's supposed to be, the right way of doing it.
Yeah.
And then what I would suggest is, now let's say you acquire the 4 unit. You're living in one of the units.
Correct.
Right? After a year or two of living in one of the units, you could refinance, so that gives you time to save up money, right? Correct. And then now you're able to get a 3-family now and work your way down to a single family. If you start off with a single family with a 3.5% down, right? And then you all of a sudden decide that you want to get a 2-family, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to put 3.5% down, because the way the bank is going to look at it is like, it doesn't make sense for you to leave a single family to go to a 2-family. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to raise questions as to why you're doing that. So you're going to have to, so if you're in a single family, you want to all of a sudden want to buy a 2-family, you're going to have to put 20% down.
Yeah.
Unless you sell that house, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The single family. But if you're going to keep it and think that you're going to buy a 2-family after, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to put 20% down.
Because they're looking at it now as an investment property.
Correct.
Got it. Wow. I didn't know that. I have a host of questions. You know, before I get there, let me check on the Instagram, see if you have any questions over there. We have a bunch of people that's tapped in and joined in. Questions. Chase your dream. What up, Johnny? Says, yeah, a bunch of people just tapped in on the gram. Powerful. Powerful. What I want to do is I have a host of questions that I would love to ask you. Just see your take on them, right? Yeah. Now, you don't have to go really rapid fire, but these are some things that I've written down that just raised the eyebrow for myself.
Sure.
We have you were working during COVID.
Yeah.
How did that work?
Working out? So working during COVID. What was the word that they used? Furloughed?
Yes,
like furloughed, right?
Absolutely.
We're still getting that check, right? So
yep.
that was the point where I made the decision to go full-time into real estate. It wasn't an easy decision.
Tough.
Because at that point, 9 to 5 was all I knew. You know what I'm saying? But also at that time, I gained enough traction in real estate where business was coming in. And I had a decision to make, you know what I mean? So at that time, I took the leap of faith, I prayed on it and made it happen, when the whole COVID thing kind of ended, me and my wife, we made the decision to purchase a home in Connecticut and, COVID started wearing down and outside started opening up again. Yeah. And I remember, that same hotel reached out to me.
Wow.
Right. And, I was factoring the distance. Once again, time, what I'm saying? Like you asked me the why, right? So now I'm here in Connecticut and I'm looking at the commute. So they call me like, hey, we're getting ready to open the hotel back up. We would love for you to come back. And at this point, I'm like, damn, like all this time I've been doing real estate. I'm really taking off. So I had to really sit on it, had wise counsel, individuals, family members, people I trusted, what I'm saying? I really, took in their advice. And, I asked them, I'm like, yo, this is the situation, man. Like, I need help making the decision here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I weighed the options out and, I was looking at the time. The commute time was about like 2.5 hours one way, taking the train.
That's rough.
And then 2.5 back because this is Midtown.
Yeah.
Midtown Manhattan. So I'm like, damn, like 2.5 hours after like working an 8-hour shift. I'm like, do I really want to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So at that point, I had the opportunity to go back.
Correct.
Because they reached out to me and they told me. So I told them like, yo, listen, honestly, I'm gonna have to decline.
Yeah, I made
that decision. I declined, and they called me back a couple of days later, and then they was like, "Hey, we're willing to give you an increase. We're gonna give you extra whatever."
Took that money on. Yeah, they will increase it up.
what? So I'm like, damn, you know what I'm
Making it tough.
saying? I'm
Now it's
like,
making it tougher.
but yeah, but I want to stay the course. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Absolutely.
like, this is what I'm really into. This is my passion. I love it. I love what I'm doing. And just to see, like, one of the gratifying things that I get, like when at closing day, just seeing the smiles and seeing the people's reaction that they accomplished something that they set out to do, that they may probably didn't even think it was possible.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So just seeing that is that's what keeps me going, really.
I agree.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
powerful.
Yeah, yeah. So at that time is when I made the decision to go all in with real estate during COVID. You know what
I'm
I'm
proud of
saying?
you. I'm proud of you
Yeah,
for that,
yeah,
man. And I commend you, man, because that's a tough decision. When they
yeah,
start talking that money and they start waving
yeah,
that money on, and they say,
yeah,
I go up on that bag, you like, hold up, that bag or my career?
yeah,
You know what? I'm stay over here because I'm on my time.
yeah, 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 man.
Powerful family. I commend you on
So,
that. Um, okay. What what tends to be one of the most misconceptions people think about of home ownership? What do you think people out there say? You know, home ownership is this, but then it's really that. What do people tend to? I know for me, right? If I were to think of one thing, one of the things I think about is like maintenance. Oh my
mhm,
gosh, how's the maintenance gonna work out? Because
mhm,
I know we see roofs cave in. I'm like, well, how am I going to finance if something were to happen? Where I'm going to get the money from in order?
mhm.
If I put all my money down into this pot of getting a home, how am I going to possibly upkeep the home?
So one of the things that I'll say to something like that, what you just said, is like, even though the lender says you're pre-approved for a certain amount, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to the maximum amount. You know what
Okay,
I'm saying? So you need to like really look at your situation and see what you're able to afford
got it.
within that price point. You know what I'm saying?
So you wouldn't you
Because
wouldn't you wouldn't cap out. You saying that if you buy a home,
yeah,
you really wouldn't cap out.
yeah, because you gotta. That's the thing. Because a lot of people, the thing is, they look at the number as far as what they're pre-approved for. What you want to look at is what the monthly mortgage amount is going to be with principal,
Mm,
interest, taxes. That's what you want to focus on, because it may not. Is it something that you can maintain? You
mm,
know, like God forbid something happens to you, will you be able to maintain that? You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So I usually tell individuals when they're looking to purchase, find out what it is you're able to maintain on a monthly basis, and stick to that. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're pre-approved for 500,000 doesn't mean you should get a house for 500,000.
correct, correct, correct.
Based on that. Now, in terms of what you mentioned, um, I want to say, well, I think it's just the ability to acquire a home. Really, a lot
Mm,
of people just don't think that they could do it,
yeah,
and they think it's much harder than it really is, and it's really not. It's just a matter of, once again, seeing where you are, having the goal, knowing that you have a goal to work towards.
correct.
You may not be able to get it this year, but at least by having a conversation with the lender, you know what you need to work on to get to that point. So with a lot of individuals, they just, sometimes they just don't think that they could get to that point. So that's what I would say.
That's powerful. So
Yeah,
getting with that lender is very, very important, and
yeah.
coming up with a strategy in order to make this thing
That's the key.
feasible and possible. That's
That's the
key.
key. Like I said, like, if you really have it in mind that you want to be a homeowner, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You know what I'm saying? By
Yep.
having that real conversation, knowing what your situation is. Do you need to budget? You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like, where could you cut back on to save more? You know what I'm saying? If saving is what you need to do. You know what I'm
got
saying? If
it.
it's your credit, looking at your credit profile, your overall profile, what is it that you need to do to increase your credit to get you to that point? If you have debt, what's the strategy for you to pay that down as fast as possible? You know what I'm saying? So, that's all it is. It's being strategic to get to the goal.
Got it. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Um, What are the different types of loans people can get to
Yeah.
purchase a home or property?
Um, so you have FHA, of course, with 3.5% down. Now, for those, there are individuals that, their credit is good. They have a substantial amount of income of savings. Income is good. Usually with those, it'll be like conventional.
Mm.
So those are the two. Now, if you're looking from an investment standpoint, um, they have what's the name of that loan?
Hard money?
Well, hard money loans, yeah, you could do that as well. There's another one. Like I said, 'cause I'm not on the loan side.
Yeah, yeah.
Forgot the name of it. Uh,
But we know of the
yeah, I'll
FHA and
come
the
back.
conventional. Yeah,
Yeah,
FHA
yeah,
and
for
conventional
sure. For
was the
like,
main.
yeah, first time home buyers, those are the two common
Got
ones.
it. Powerful.
DSCR, that's the one. I'm sorry.
DSCR? DS
DSCR. Yeah, you guys
DSDR.
could Google that. So that's typically for investors.
Ah,
With that type of loan, they're not in depth in like how they would be with a first time home buyer. So where a first time home buyer, you'll probably need like tax returns, W-2 statements like that. With a DSCR loan for an investment property, it's more so what they focus on, the lender, is how the property is making the income. So if it's cash flow, it's making a certain amount of income, they'll approve you based on that. But usually with those, you have to put 20-25% down.
and that,
But
that will fall more on the commercial side, like commercial
correct,
buildings. Got
correct.
it.
Yeah, commercial. It don't necessarily. It could be residential. Well, so residential is considered anything between 1 to 4 family. Once you start going to 5 units or more,
Yeah.
that's considered commercial.
God, I didn't know that. Wow,
Yeah,
it's powerful.
yeah.
That's great. I love this information. I'm like, whoo, let's go. Oh man. What are good interest rates for property?
Right now, I mean, they're trending down now.
Mhm.
At the time during COVID, that was the time to really strike. That's why the market was so hot the way it was, because you had
Yeah.
interest rates as low as 2.9% or so. We're
What?
hovering around there, 2.9, 3%.
What?
So at that point, which was the time that me and my wife ended up locking something in.
Guys are smart.
So yeah, so now they're, I want to say, about like 6.5%, which is good.
Yeah.
The thing is this: you don't want to focus so much so on the interest rate. Once it goes back to your budget, whether it's 3%, 6%, it's what you're able. Yes, you have more purchasing power with 3%. You're
Correct.
able to get, you're pre-approved for something higher because the interest rate is lower.
Yeah.
But even at 6%, you could still be a homeowner. It's just a matter of knowing what you're able to take, as far as paying on a monthly basis.
Got it.
Yeah.
Powerful. I like that. In closing the deal, had you ever had to get assistance from someone helping you close a tough deal?
Oh yeah. I mean, this was like in the beginning, and
Yeah.
even till now,
Yeah.
I could humbly say there are certain, because every situation is not the same. Like now I'm at a point now where I'm seeing myself transitioning from residential to doing more commercial deals. Like I have one in contract that's a 6 unit.
Let's go.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's go.
So that's like first of many.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I see it
Yeah.
happening, because I'm getting more individuals reaching out to me. Hey, I want a 6 unit. I want an 8 unit. So I'm like, oh, okay. I've never been in this area of real estate before, so
Correct.
my mind is expanding, just like how it was with the front desk. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I've never been in a position like this, but I adapted, I learned, and I executed. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So yeah. What was the question again? I lost track.
Just have you ever needed assistance from someone else to close
Of
the
course,
deal?
yeah, for sure. So those situations,
Yeah.
Man, like, you don't know everything. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And that's where if I don't know something, I go to the person. And this is where having a relationship and having the resources to, you know what I'm saying? Like I have attorneys, I have lenders, contractors. If I'm in a situation where I don't know, I reach out to those individuals that I rely on, my resources.
So you got a strong team. You got a strong team with you.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have that. You gotta have that for sure.
And you think that's one of the successes what allowed you to sell so many properties? Have you had
yeah, for sure.
Having that team? Yep.
You said something last week when we first got on the call.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, one of the things that I realized about you is that you're a liaison. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Bro. So, I thought about it. I'm like, yo, I am. You know what I'm saying? Like all through, in my employment, just in life, you know what I'm saying? Like I always been that person that, like someone brings a problem to, I'm like, okay, if I can't solve it, who do I know in my, sphere of influence that could help this individual? And I don't even look at it from a standpoint of like me making money, like the middleman. I just want to solve the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like come to me, okay, just talk to this person and they could help you with that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I realized by having that team of having individuals, like-minded individuals, that I could just, it's a phone call away. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a situation, I got someone that's going through something right now. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of like a rental situation. Okay. You know what I mean? And they're friends of mine. And I'm like, you know what? Let me reach out to this attorney. You know what I'm saying? With most attorneys, you gotta gotta pay for a consultation. Sure. Because of the relationship I have, I could help these individuals by just reaching out. Hey, listen, this is the situation. You know, you know what I'm saying? So just being having resources, man. I love that. I love that.
It's so crazy. You're so resourceful. That shit is so powerful. I love that, man. And absolutely hit it right on the nail. Hit it right on the nail. I love that. What was your most difficult experience when dealing with the client?
I would say one thing with me, there was in the beginning. So what real estate showed me is you got to know your worth. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that you're able to decide who you want to work with. I remember there was one particular client in the beginning. I didn't know much, but I knew my self-worth anyway.
Sure.
But it was just the tone. They was just so nasty the way they were talking to me, bro.
So
like,
good.
Yeah, man. It was demanding. It was, so I'm just looking like I don't have to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? So, it came to a point where I just ended the relationship business-wise because I couldn't, I know my worth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was one situation, man. I didn't tolerate that at all, man. I mean, I was never the type. I don't really like, people talking to me a certain way, with a certain tone.
Not tolerated. Not at all.
I'm big on respect. You know what I'm saying? There's a way you talk to people.
Absolutely.
And, you know what I'm saying? So with me, that was like a big thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I had zero tolerance for it. You know what I'm saying?
I think I might have the perfect sound for it. Hopefully it's it.
Yeah.
That's how that experience went.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let's see. Let's go with, what was the fastest that you have closed the deal?
Within a month.
Ooh, that's quick.
I had a few of those. Yeah. So typically with real estate, it's anywhere between 45 to 60 days. Okay. So, more or less, a month and a half to 2 months.
Yeah.
The longest, I want to say about 6-7 months. A lot of back and forth.
6 months.
Yeah. That was the longest.
Wow.
The quickest though, 30 days is the quickest. Everything going smooth, no issues within 30 days.
Got it. I like that. 6 months. That's a big, big difference.
But there is. I mean, I haven't experienced it yet. Well, I have actually. The quickest, and this is, I'm talking in terms of like financing.
Yeah, for sure.
You do have cash buyers, individuals that are purchasing cash. That's even quicker. So you're talking about like just a matter of weeks, like probably like 2 weeks.
Man, that's quick.
Yeah. So like 2-3 weeks cash. Yeah.
I like that. This is good. This is good information, man. If you're out there right now, give them thumbs up, show that love. If you have any questions, put them in the chat so we can actually see them and go through them together so we can really have the expert himself expound on it and be able to give us some insight so we could, better suit ourselves in the near future. The Jules family, what is the toughest obstacle you had to deal with? Okay, we answered that. That's great. Thank you for that support. Let's go with that one. Did that one. What advice would you give someone that wants to be a homeowner but not quite there yet financially?
Yeah. So something like that, just stay the course.
Stay the course.
Yeah, just stay the course, really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you're not there financially, once again, it goes back to the strategic. You just got to be strategic with it, man. You just got to go back to the drawing board, figure out what your income is, what's your expenses, what you could cut back on, and find ways where you could increase your income, whether it's finding something supplemental income, a side gig, part-time job, whatever you can to speed up the process, to save what it is that you need for that down payment and closing costs.
I'm gonna ask you this, right? Before we get into the closing, how important is mindset? How have your mindset impacted yourself, others? What do you think about who you have became during this process? How you think that shaping your mind to be who you are today, how has that affected you and the people that you're around or come in contact with, for that matter? How important is that, you think?
Nah, it's very important, man. Mindset, and that's what has gotten me to where I am now. Once again, like I said, everything happens for a reason. It's how you look at certain things. Yeah, because you're gonna be faced with challenges.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how you're gonna deal with it. Like, are you gonna let that be a setback, or are you gonna let that be the reason why you're gonna keep on pushing forward? You know what I'm saying? Because it hasn't been all rainbows. Even with me, doing real estate, I've had challenging moments. You know what I'm saying? Where the thing with real estate, sometimes you'll encounter times where there's down seasons. You know what I'm saying? That's why being mindful of, like, when you do get paid, when you closing deals, to put money aside, managing your finances. You know what I'm saying? Because there are going to be times where things get rough. You know what I'm saying? So now, what is it that you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to quit? You know what I'm saying? Or are you going to keep on pushing through? You know what I mean? So for me, I always had that mindset, like, I'm going to get through. You know what I mean? But one of the main things that helps me with that is my faith in God. You know what I'm saying? Like, first and foremost, like, before I do anything, I pray on it. You know what I'm saying? And that faith pushes me through. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that I'm going through that God can't get me through. You know what I'm saying? So that faith and my work ethic and my willingness to push is what gets me through for everything that I go through, to be honest.
I love that.
Yeah.
5 years from now, what do you see yourself?
5 years. Nah, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. So 5 years, that's gonna be like 47. I want to get into the developing.
Be a developer.
Yeah. So that's the realm that I want to get into.
Yeah.
And we didn't touch on the life insurance.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
So that part is where I'm looking to venture into eventually.
Yeah.
After acquiring a couple of investment properties. But yeah, for sure. Next 5 years, that's the game plan.
I like that. And why insurance? Since we there, why insurance?
So I had gotten introduced. There was the person that brought me in. So made a good point. And for me, it was a no-brainer. Because for me, it's about what could I do to provide value to individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the clients that I've helped to purchase homes, once again, I'm a relationship-based individual. I'm not transactional. There's a lot of agents that are transactional. So they just, they close the deal. They don't
pay to play. That's them.
Yeah, it's not really there. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like I said, it's meaningful. Like what I do, I'm very passionate. Like I mean that. You know what I'm saying? So And it shows. And I nurture those relationships. Like prior
Absolutely.
to us even getting on this call,
Yep.
it's a client, we was on the phone for like 30 minutes. I happened to buy a house like 2 years ago. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So I'm able to still have these relationships with them.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, um, it was getting to a point where I'm like, okay, I help these individuals to purchase homes. What could I do to help them to protect that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, we're getting older, life happens.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like anything can happen. You're here today, going tomorrow. You know what I'm
True.
saying? So do you have something in place to protect what you just purchased? You know what I'm saying? Because
Indeed.
the way I look at it, like you purchasing, that's the first step to generational wealth. By you
Correct.
acquiring that first home, investment
Yep.
property. So now you want to protect that because God
Yep.
forbid something happened to you, everything that you worked so hard for, worked towards to acquire this could be gone just like that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then now it leaves, if your situation isn't set up, it puts a burden on your family. You know what I'm saying? Everything becomes, it goes into turmoil. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I'm like, you know what? Helping individuals to get life insurance, not any just the type of insurance, but term of living benefits, only for the simple fact that it so the plan is to get them $1 million policies. So whatever property they acquire within that $1 million policy, they're going to be covered. It
Got it.
pays off the house, pays off the mortgage. So that helps to alleviate the pressures for the families. So in the event that they're passing, right, the house can be paid off. What does that do? That puts them in a better position that if the family members want to rent the home, they get maximum rent because there isn't a mortgage attached to it. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying? Now, if they
Yep.
decide that they want to sell it, they get maximum profit where everyone is
Mm.
able to get a nice portion. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if a life insurance policy is in place, they pass away, you still have that mortgage there. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? You still have to come up with the funds for the burial, for the funeral.
For
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? So
Sure.
I've witnessed families like go through this and it's like, wow. So now once again, just put my thinking cap, like what can I do to protect the individuals that I help to purchase these properties onward and just in general. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like you don't even
Absolutely.
have to be associated with real estate.
Correct.
Just having a life insurance policy is something that I think is as important as you having a car insurance. There's
True
people that
indeed.
have car insurance and don't
Yep.
have life insurance.
Travel insurance.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like,
True.
even if it's mandatory for you to do that in order to operate a vehicle,
Yep.
still, like, me personally, I feel that should be mandatory. Like, your life
Absolutely.
more than that vehicle, you know what I'm
That's a
saying? Like,
fact.
that has to be in order, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So for me, man, I think that's a important thing, especially for our people, man, because
Indeed.
I'm seeing, the GoFundMe's and,
Yeah,
hearing
it gets
stories of
rough.
people's not having the funds, you know what I'm saying,
For
to,
sure.
to bury their loved ones, and they got to run around and try to, and then eventually just decide on cremating because they don't have, that's not, for the person that it's just not, it's not, it's something that I'm passionate about as well. So I decided to jump into that avenue. Just started with that. So
Powerful.
but yeah, that's another venture, man, that I'm collaborating with real estate.
I love that. That tandem together, man, is gonna be
Yeah.
powerful. I
Oh
mean, you're
yeah.
gonna open up so many doors and protect these people assets. So they
Exactly.
going into it. Okay, I got this asset. Now I can protect this with along with me, my
Yep.
family, generational things. You putting these things together like a full playbook in order
Yes.
for people to follow. So now when you setting them in position, say, hey, listen, we got this covered. That's one down. And
Mm-hmm.
I love how you just taking your clients through a journey. You
Yeah.
provided one avenue for them because they had an
Yep.
interest in being a homeowner. But you
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, not only being a homeowner, let's take this up to let's have generational wealth. Let's have
Yeah.
your kids be affected. Let's have their kids be affected. And now we
Exactly.
have something that's a staple in our family to where we can say, hey, at this point in time, grandpa, grandma, whoever did down the line, they made a
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice and they invested in our future. And they allowed us to have this ground that we're standing on now to
Yep.
still provide and produce. And I think that right there alone just shows how much you put into what you do. Like you said, you come from the heart with this. It's
Yeah.
not nothing that's transactional. Looking at this from an aspect of saying, hey, I want to be valuable. I'm going to be valuable. I'm
Yeah.
also going to provide assets and resources for people to put themselves in position to provide. And I think right there, the more and more you keep extending your hands and even just building your own mindset, I think one of the most beautiful things is you being able to think and say, how can I improve here?
Yes.
And it's like improvement. Yo, I got this situated. Cool. I can eat. I still
Mm-hmm.
can continue to do what I do. But how do
Mm-hmm.
I build on top of this? And I think that right there alone is constantly separating you from, other individuals. You are your own entity, you are your own individual, but that allows you to grow in areas where most people won't even look to grow because they're not looking or seeking, how can I be better? How can I improve? And I think that right there alone is something that's very, very powerful. And I know that the more and more that you just keep extending um, your hands, but more or less, long as you keep thinking, because I think
Mm-hmm.
that your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts is what's really carrying you through a midst of your discipline,
Mm-hmm.
your wanting to learn and grow and being able to connect with other people. But I think that your ability to think is something that's very, very special for what you do and how you're gonna constantly progress in your life. Because only thing you constantly thinking of is ideas of how to grow
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
And I think that right there is very,
Yeah.
very special, family. And I want to really, really highlight that. I
No, I
think,
appreciate it. I appreciate it, man.
yeah,
And
man.
you know, um, I want to share that. It's to the point where I'm at a point in my life where like peace. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like having the ability to sit down in a space and really think
correct.
on what could I do to expand, to be better as an individual, and what could I do to help other individuals. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Having that downtime when you're surrounded by that noise, it's hard to,
Yeah,
you
it's
know what I'm
chaotic.
saying?
It's
Yeah.
chaotic.
You know what I mean? So you definitely want to have that downtime to yourself. You know what I mean?
Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you want to let the audience know, or anything? It's something that you want to share that we didn't cover, or something you just want to leave um our audience with.
Um, and all I can simply say, man, keep your faith in God, stay
Mm,
positive, stay disciplined, stay motivated,
mm.
and just keep on going, man.
Yes,
That's what I can say in a nutshell. It's gonna be doubters. Once again, it's up to you to decide what it is. If you're gonna let that affect you, or if you're gonna keep on pushing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. That's what I
yes,
got to say.
yes. Oh man, I love and I appreciate you, my brother, for coming on, sharing your
Appreciate you.
expertise, giving us so much insight, allowing us to grow with you along your journey. We can't wait to see you 5 years from now when you that developer.
Oh
You
yeah,
going out there putting these plays together. We got that
yeah,
insurance
yeah,
packed
yeah,
up, and
yeah,
people lining up to get their lives in order. They say, "Listen, man,
yeah.
Floddy was one of those individuals that helped me get here." And I think that right there is special, man, because the more and more people that you help, you don't understand that goes. I mean, you do understand, but I mean, there's so many great things from you just passing forward that initial heart of, and that you just sharing your mind, sharing
Mm-hmm,
the sentiment behind what you do. That is
mm-hmm.
so powerful, because some people I know in our environment it's a dog eat dog, and most people are
Yeah,
stingy
nah,
with information. And
nah,
you being a person that's like open up the door. I know you from gyms and you leading me to the water, it
mm-hmm.
opened up a whole nother psyche
Yeah.
about myself, just being intrigued and interested in so many areas of my life where I'm improving. And I think that's something that's special about you and what you do.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate
Yep.
that, man.
We have one more comment before we slide out. Elizabeth said, if you helped educate us today, thank you for today.
Nah, truly appreciate it, man. I'm
Yes,
here to
yes.
help as much as possible.
No
So
doubt.
anyone can tap in.
Yes, yes. And how can people find you? Where can they find you at?
I'm everywhere, man. You can
Yes,
just
yes.
Google. But
Google me, baby.
primarily, yeah, you know what I mean? You can just Google it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Instagram, F Jules the Realtor is where
Yep.
you can find me.
Yep.
Fluddy Jules, Facebook. I'm pretty much on all platforms. Mostly on Instagram and Facebook.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Once again, man, I love and appreciate everything that you offered today. We thank you for the bottom of our hearts, and I can't wait to do this again. I know further down the line we're gonna do this again, and I just can't
Sure.
wait to see what your fruits of your labor has brought to the community of people that you impact, as well as yourself and your family. And I know you love your family unconditionally. I know wifey too. Congratulations on her. We didn't get there, but let her know that I love and support her education. She's not playing RN, right?
Yes. Yep.
Powerful.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the babies, let them just grow. They
Yep.
be beautiful queens that they are. And I know they love daddy unconditionally. And I know that you're just doing a wonderful job as a man of your word, man to your family, man to the people that you come in contact with, and the things that you offer, brother. It's very, very powerful and infectious. So thank you
Appreciate it.
again.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. We are signing out, loved ones.
Peace.
Yes, sir. Man, today was special. Special, special, special. That was great.